Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you all. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk today about values and ethics in the workplace in 2021. They've changed a bit, and so I think it's good for kind of a refresher to go through some of the things that are different now than they used to be. I'm going to share my screen here and we'll get going with the PowerPoint after I've shared my screen here. Sharing the screen. Just one moment. I don't know what's going on here. We'll see. I don't know if I turned you all off. Sorry for the. Here we go. So here we go. We're going to talk about, this course is going to show you the rules of being in the workplace in 2021. We're going to talk about time ethics, being on time, working diligently, all the hours you're being paid for, that's for sure. Do not leave work early. Don't check out 5 minutes early every day or 15 minutes early. It makes a difference. Stay off your mobile device and your social media during work hours. That's for off hours, that's during your breaks and for lunch and so on and so forth. Never use a company-owned computer for personal reasons. Not a good idea. Time management, we're going to talk about how to create a to-do list for the week and for each day. Check things off when they're done. It's very satisfying. Differentiate what is urgent and what is not. Do boring tasks first. That really seems to be a good thing to do. And keep a detailed calendar. Advise coworkers and your management of your time schedule. End each day by listing anything you did not complete that day. Put that at the top of your list for the next day. Start every day completing the items not finished the day before. Professional behavior in the business setting. Professional etiquette means being comfortable around people and making them comfortable around you. Most professionals' situations are appropriate for a handshake, including an interview, networking event, and or a business meeting. Make strong eye contact and offer a greeting before and during the handshake. Make sure when you do the handshake, it is a firm grip. You want a firm grip because it shows confidence in yourself. And you want to let people know that you are indeed confident in yourself. So it's very important that it's a firm handshake. First meeting of people. Professional etiquette rules that every person should follow. Say your full name. Your full name. The reason being is some people have last names that are difficult to discern what they are and or pronounce what they are. I know that a lot of people, my name is John Daly, but a lot of people will pronounce my name John Daly because I spell my name Daly. When I say my full name, this is John Daly, they know how to say my name. That's a good thing for anybody to know that you should definitely do that. Shake hands appropriately. Like I said before, you want to make a firm handshake. It's important because it really says a lot about you. You want to take care of your outfit. What are you wearing? This is the first time you're meeting somebody and you want to be dressed according to what they are wearing. Meaning, when I say that, if you're going into an interview, you want to have done research prior to going to the interview to find out what is the dress code of where you're going and dress accordingly. When you're all done with an interview, it's a good idea to send a thank you note. And if you were interviewed by a panel of people, you want to send separate email or thank you notes to each person. You can send an email, but I strongly recommend sending a written thank you note as well. Email is fine for sending it right after the interview, but then I think it's very important to send a handwritten note. It keeps people much more connected to you because you're following up afterwards. Be polite and pull out someone's chair. That doesn't mean that a lady can't pull out a man's chair. It's just a polite thing to do, that's all. And it's a good thing to do because it shows respect. Show professionalism in the workplace. And we all hopefully know how to act professional in the workplace. It's important that when you're in the workplace that you have a certain demeanor about you and dress a certain way. And just remember that you are there to work, not to play around. Be on time. In the business world, being on time means being 5 minutes early. So that's important to know. Be 5 minutes early. Allow for traffic situations. You don't know what traffic could be all about. So you want to make sure that you allow for the traffic situation. And maybe you're going to end up being 10 or 15 minutes early. That's fine. Better that than being late. If you've never been to a place before, it might be smart to do a drive run to see where the parking is, etc. So if you have an address that you've never gone to, just go take a drive and go find out where it is and exactly where you're going to park, rather than being all nervous the day before trying to find parking, or the day of the meeting trying to find parking, etc. It's a good idea to have a phone number for someone in the meeting in case you run into a problem. I've had times, we've all had times where I sat in dead stop traffic and there was an accident on the freeway or something, and there's nothing you can do about it. But you could call that person and say exactly what's going on, that you're stuck. First impressions count. People often form impressions about others within 20 seconds of meeting them. 20 seconds, that's a proven fact. So it's important to ensure you present yourself as professional. Be aware of your body language and how others may perceive it. Body language, it says 93% of what you communicate comes from your body language. 93%. That's a huge amount. And you want to make sure that you have proper body language, because 7%, only 7% comes from your mouth and from what you're saying. So, but a good rule of thumb is to stand straight, maintain eye contact, and smile. Make sure you know the workplace dress code before you go, and offer and office policies ahead of time. That's what you've done in all your research. Arrive on time, 5 minutes early, and be prepared for important meetings. When I say prepared, you want to have a pad and pencil with you, or pen, and you want to be able to take notes. It shows that you're really listening to what somebody has to say if you take notes. I will take notes even if no matter whether it has something to do with what is being talked about or not. I just underline things that seem to be important to the client / interviewer. And it makes them feel as though you're really taking them seriously. It's pretty important to do that. Well, it's very important to do that, not pretty important. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. How many times have we heard that? Avoid gossip like it's the plague. How you treat people says a lot about you. Don't make value judgment on people's importance in the workplace, or speak negatively about your coworkers, even if you find yourself frustrated over a situation. Keep it to yourself. Go home and share it with someone at home. Don't do it in the office. Be thoughtful about how you interact with your supervisor, peers, or subordinates as well. Remember, if someone gossips with you, they're going to gossip about you as well. It's a big deal. The person that says, just between you and me, I have to tell you so and so. Well, if it's just between you and them, it's going to go to other people as well. Very important to remember that. Communication is an important part of the workplace etiquette. It's not always what you say, but how you say it that counts. So be mindful of how you communicate with your colleagues in meetings and one-on-one conversations. Don't over-talk someone. When someone is talking, let them finish their thought before you talk over them. It's not a good idea to talk over somebody. And also, not only that, you don't want to constantly interrupt, or you don't want to be the person in the room that always says, may I make a suggestion about so-and-so, or may I make a suggestion about so-and-so? I've had people that have done that drives me absolutely nuts. When somebody says it over and over, on occasion, it's fine, but not constantly. As the global market grows, the need to understand multiple international standards of business etiquette is also growing. For instance, well, I'll finish this first. If you take a job or internship in another country, be sure to research the proper etiquette, culture, and customs for both that country and the organization you plan to work for. For instance, I know an awful lot of time, and I'm generalizing now, please realize that. But if you are working in Japan, for instance, in Japan, you may sit down for a business meeting and talk for an hour and a half and never discuss the business at hand at all. What you're doing is you're gaining a relationship. And that is what the Japanese people in Japan, at least, want to do. They want to build a relationship with a person before they necessarily do business with them. So remember that. It's good to know if you go in to a meeting in Japan, you don't want to slap them right away with business. It's an absolute turnoff to anyone in the business world in Japan. That's not the way it is here. Here in America, in most places, in the United States at least, we want to get to the business, do the business, and move on to the next thing rather quickly. It's just not that way. And there's other countries that are the same way. And there's parts here. I remember a great story that when I was in the event business, I was in Alabama with a lady from Alabama and a lady from New York who was an event planner. And this lady from New York wanted to have an event on this particular farm. And so we went driving looking for this farm and couldn't find it. It was way out in the sticks, so to speak. And we saw a man sitting with his dog underneath a makeshift shed alongside the road. And we pulled up, and the woman from New York rolled her window down and said to the man, "Do you happen to know where Edgemont Farm is? Or tell me where Edgemont Farm is. We can't find it." He said, "Well, gee, I don't know. I've never heard of Edgemont Farm." And she said, "Oh, okay, thank you." Rolled back our window and we drove on. We drove around for another half hour, and all of a sudden there was the man again with his dog. And the woman from Alabama said, "Let me handle this." And she parked the car, got out of the car, walked over to the man and said to him, "Gosh, I like your dog." And he said, "Well, thank you, ma'am." She said, "He looks like a nice critter. I'll bet you've had him a long time." And he said, "Yeah, I sure have." And she said, "You know, we're driving around this beautiful country and we're looking for Edgemont Farm. Can't seem to find it anywhere." He said, "Oh, Edgemont Farm, all you do is you go down the road a piece and you pass a stop sign. And as soon as you pass that stop sign, the next right-hand turn you can make, that's the road back to Edgemont Farm. And you'll get right to it." Well, we jumped in the car and that's how we got to it. So the way we do business really depends upon where you're doing business. It makes a big difference. This man did not want to be rushed. That was all there was to it. So anyway, it's good to know on the global market. Emails, texts, and Twitter. Treat an email the same way as you would a conversation. Don't say anything in an email that you would not say to someone's face. It's not a good idea. You want to spell out all of the words that you want to write. In other words, you don't want to say the letter U, the letter R, coming, COMG, to the party, PATY. You don't want to spell it out like that. That's for kids to do. You want to spell it out. You are coming to the party. Spell out all the words and watch your punctuation and your spelling. People really look at that very, very closely. Make sure whenever you're writing an email, and I don't care who it's to, if it's a business email, make sure that you proofread that email and make sure that everything is correct before you hit the send button. Very important. Texts are a little less formal than emails, so you don't have to be quite so formal, but get to the point on a text. Don't write a long text. Save that for your emails. And then a Twitter is even shorter, so get right to the point on Twitter. Remember, what you write never goes away. So be very, very careful what you write. It's saved somewhere. Someone can bring it up at a later date and you could end up having a big problem. So just be very careful of what you write, never goes away. Remember that. Never order a company-owned computer for personal reasons. Computers and iPads that belong to a company are for company business only. Do not use it as a personal tool for private communication. Not a good idea. Do not play games on a company computer or watch inappropriate material on a company computer or a laptop. Either one. And iPads are for the company note-taking, not personal lists, unless they are work-related. Use it all for work-related things. Remember, your boss has the right to go into your email at any time or go onto your computer at any time they so desire to find out what it is that you're looking at and why you're looking, and ask for an explanation of why you're looking at certain things. It's their privilege because they own it. Anyone have any questions or any comments so far? Erica, do you have any? I can't see any of you today. You're not letting me in on your video. Esmeralda, how about you? Are you there? Okay, I guess maybe you're there and don't want to ask questions. Understand your work environment. It's really something. The values and policies and procedures at a workplace can be difficult to discern at first. If you're in a larger organization with a structured human resource division, you may have access to an HR manager or in-house training to keep you informed of your organization's expectations. In a smaller workplace setting, Some of that knowledge may come from observing others and asking questions of your colleagues when needed. Lastly, observing the atmosphere and actions of others can help you understand what's appropriate and what's not, how to best navigate the workplace while maintaining your professionalism. Don't worry about asking questions. If you want to ask questions, that's not a bad thing at all. You can definitely ask questions. People are more than happy to help you. And it's a good idea to ask the question rather than do something incorrectly. Be personable yet professional. Now, this is something that you've got to be careful with. Sharing information about your personal life is your choice, but be cautious when it comes to what you share. Some colleagues may be more open than others and might choose to keep their personal life private as well. Similarly, you may want to limit personal calls, emails, and other non-work related tasks to after work hours. Within your workspace, it's okay to add personal touches, but remember that your colleagues will see the space and consider it a reflection of your professional self. So if you have if you're in a cubicle, be careful what you put on your walls, the walls of your cubicle, or the things that you put on your desk, because it's a reflection of you. Now, I'm sure that it's going to be a good reflection, but you want to be careful. Lastly, getting to know your colleagues is a good thing, but always be respectful of other space. If you need to discuss something with them, don't just walk into their cubicle, knock, or make your presence known. And always offer to schedule a meeting for later in the day if they are busy at the moment. So if you see that somebody is busy, just say, could we set up a time to get together, or write a note? If they're on the phone or something, write a note and put the note in front of them that you'd like to get together and have a conversation. Please contact you when they're done. Create a weekly as well as a daily calendar. This is a really important thing. As you create your lists of things to do, I suggest doing it by hand. I like to write my list by hand because it seems to commit more to your memory. And it seems to remind you more of what it is what you have to do. As you finish each thing on your list, check it off or scratch it off. It's very satisfying to know that you're moving forward with your tasks at hand. It's terrific to know that. At the end of each day, make a list for the next day's projects, listing the things that you did not accomplish the day before, or that day, for the next day. Put them first. It's important. Okay? Any questions? Any comments? Differentiate between what is urgent and what is not. It's a good idea to list the things you do and the importance of each task. Use a color highlighter to highlight the important tasks. I know I use highlighters. I use a yellow highlighter and an orange highlighter. If it is done in orange, I know it's super important to get it done right away. Yellow is not as important. That's just for me. What you do for yourself is totally up to you. Set up your own code for colors used based upon the importance and urgency of the task. That's totally up to you, however you want to do it. Go through your list and pick the things that you least like to do and do them first. And you may wonder why I say that, but if I, for instance, do not like to work with numbers. I don't like accounting things, but there are things that I have to do. I'm in business and I have to do that. So I always will do that first thing in the morning. And the reason I do that is I don't want it hanging over my head for the rest of the day. It just makes it easier to not have to worry about, oh, I've got to do all the accounting stuff. And then by the end of the day comes, I'm so tired and I don't want to think about doing it that I screw it up or I don't do it properly. And that's not a good thing. So check off those things that you don't like to do early. Some people love accounting, so leave it for a while. End your day on it. Your work calendar is your lifeline to success. If your work calendar is kept up to date, it can really help you know exactly what's coming along, what you're doing, what is the next thing that's going to happen, what do you have to be prepared for tomorrow? Are you having a luncheon tomorrow? Are you meeting someone for breakfast? What is the case? Always enter times on the calendar as well as the dates for meetings and other projects. You don't want to just enter lunch with Mary Lou on Thursday because you don't know where that lunch is, for one thing. And who knows, by Thursday, you may forget if you decided, and you might not remember the time. So write it down, put it on your calendar. We're all busy people and we tend to forget things. So it happens. So be sure that you enter the time as well as the place of where your meeting is. And like I said, highlight in the color of your choice deadlines that are important. Always check your calendar for the following day at the end of your workday so you're prepared for the following day. I like to do that. I make sure that I've checked it before I close my office door for the day because I need to know what to prepare for the next day. Do I have an early morning meeting? Do I have a late morning meeting? Do I have anything? Do I have anything in particular that I have to do that day? It's really good. It's good to have those free days where you can catch up on all your lists and all that. Advise coworkers and your manager of your time schedule. It's a good idea to share your calendar with close workers so they know what they can do to support you. And that's important. Let others know when you're facing a deadline so they'll be aware of what you are working on. When time allows, help one another with their work. You can help people very often finish a project or whatever, and turnabout is fair play. They're going to end up turning around later on when you're doing a project that you've got to rush on. They'll help you out. It's a good thing. what I'd like to do is ask you once again, and I hope I'll get some sort of a response. If there's anything that anyone has a question about or comment about. And maybe Erica, do you have anything that you would like to say? Or Esmeralda? Do you have, are you on mute? No? Well, Esmeralda, you're on mute. Okay, nothing to say? Well, I'd like you to please go ahead and go to your Survey Monkey after this and check it out and tell us what you think. Okay, I'd like very much to know what you think of today's, oh, there's a chat. Let's see what's in the chat. Oh, you're welcome, Esmeralda. Absolutely. Do you have any questions? No? Okay, well, thank you all so much. I appreciate it, and thank you for tuning in today. Okay.